Hi traders, welcome to this video. Today I want to show you how I screen for stocks. And before we start and I show you some of my screeners, just some hints about screeners. So the first one, I'm only screening for US stocks. I'm a US stocks only trader, so I can't give you any recommendations about European or Indian or China stocks because I'm absolutely not interested in that. The second thing, which is very important, screeners are no signals. You can't take a stock out of a screener and trade it without any research. You have to go into the details and make a very deep technical and also fundamental analysis of the stock. Screeners are only, or the job of a screeners is only to decrease the number of stocks you look at, and on the other side to increase the odds to find a big winning stock. It's a little bit like fishing in the right lake. So I use always screeners where I know from my back tests and from my experience that in the screeners there are some really big potential fishes. So I make sure that I'm looking in the right lake or in the right pond to find big fishes. I'm personally using two screener platforms. The first one is FinViz, and I will only look at FinViz in this video because I think FinViz is a great software for you, especially also for new traders. And the second screener platform I'm using is MarketSmith from Investors Business Daily. But yeah, MarketSmith is not very cheap. It's around $150 per month, and FinViz is free, and FinViz offers some other interesting features. I will not post the settings of the screeners, so for you, you can pause the video and set up the screeners by yourself. For all the people who are too lazy to do that, go and find another platform, another YouTube channel. So you can pause the video, you can look at the settings, and then you can set up the screeners by yourself. Okay, I'm using different types of screeners: fundamental screeners, performance-oriented screeners, and technical screeners, and I will go quickly through all of them. So the first one is a screener I'm using to find stocks with a sales growth larger than 30% quarter over quarter, year over year. You can see I'm only looking at companies with more than 300 million market cap. The stocks must be above $3. And price must be above SMA 50, the average volume must be over 100,000, and the sales growth quarter over quarter should be over 30%. So really, really strong sales growth. Now you can see that I'm always looking at the charts here in FinViz, candle charts and the weekly charts. I'm not looking so much at daily charts in FinViz, and because this screener here above 30%, I only look at this screener on weekends. So I'm just looking one time per week on the stocks with a high sales growth. Why 30%? Yeah, because it's one of the highest numbers to make sure I really catch some big growing stocks. Okay, now you can see the screener find 165 candidates, and you can see them on four pages. And this is a really big benefit, and I like it very much. This is a big benefit of FinViz, that you can have a look at the charts, at small charts, so you can go over a large number of stocks in a very short time. And what I do here is I look above all the charts, and I look for patterns. So I'm looking for an uptrend, of course. I'm looking for consolidations, like here, for example, in Zaylab. I'm looking for volume. You can see the volume here on the chart, and I'm looking for volume spikes. I'm looking, for example, if I take here Accelerant Pharma, I see here a very big, large bar. Then I see a consolidation here, and I also see big volume. And then I'm going deeper into the analysis of such a stock. Such a stock, just as an example here, Accelerant Pharma, I would now go into the deep analysis of the technical parts, of the fundamentals, of the stories, and then I decide if I put such a stock on the watch list or not. And it takes me only a very few minutes to go over all these charts, because if you do it regularly, week by week, you know the most of the stocks, and you have the most of the stocks and their background stories, their fundamentals, etc., all in your head. And if you go over multiple screeners, the most candidates will show up in not only one of them, but in many of the screeners. So, for example, if you are subscribing to my newsletter, you know a lot of these names. For example, C Limited, Livongo, Pan American Silver, Catalysis, for example, and here Pinduoduo. They all come up here in those screeners, and then I start to look inside. Okay, another screener I'm using is Top 1 Year, and this is a screener which shows me the stocks which are up more than 100% year over year. So they are the really strong momentum stocks. And at the moment there's a lot of biotech, and I'm doing the same stuff here. I'm looking for volume, I'm looking for big bars, I'm looking for consolidations. And for example, EverQuote here from my newsletter, and such a stock came up in one of those screeners, and you can see the same thing here: big up bar, consolidation, then another big bar, consolidation, etc. So another screener I'm using, this is really my personal favorite. This is Strong Stocks. And Strong Stocks show me all the stocks which are up more than 70% from their 52-week lows. So this is another performance or momentum screener. So the stock must be 70% above their 52-week low. And this shows me that these stocks are really strong, and they are going up. They are definitely in an uptrend, and sometimes in a very fast uptrend. You can see that here, for example, with Inseego. If I look at the screener here, maybe the 52-week low is around this low here. And now, because of this fast and big move here, this stock is listed in this screener at the moment. And you can see, for example, Shopify, Palomar, and some other candidates also showed up in the screeners before. Here, PAAS, so Pan American Silver, for example. And if a stock if a stock shows up in multiple of my screeners, this is a good sign because it fulfills so much criteria. Okay, this is strong stock screener. You can see it's also around 165 stocks. In good times, when we have a very strong bull market, this can be up to 12 pages or 13 pages. Another screener I'm using is 10% weak performer. This is a great screener, and I'm also using it mostly here in the candle and in the weekly setting. And I'm looking at stocks which are up 10% in a week. And in this screener, I find out which sectors are in accumulation. So which sectors are really strong in the last week. And this gives me always clues about trends in the stock market and where the money flows. And if we have a big change in the stock market, maybe from one industry to another or one sector to another, these stocks will come up in this scanner. And sometimes I find also some interesting stocks which don't come up in the other screeners. Okay. Then we come to one screener I use in the daily charts, and this is a screener I use on a daily base. So I'm looking at it not at the weekend, but on every weekday, because this shows me stocks with unusual volume. That means here are stocks listed which have a volume which is strongly above the average volume, and you can see it here. For example, Snap. You can see the daily candle here, and you can see the daily volume here. And the daily volume is very strong today because Snap released earnings yesterday evening, and the stock is up 30%. And the same for Infi here, for example. This is a very strong volume. And I look at this screener on a daily basis to see where are stocks which are under heavy accumulation. And sometimes I find breakout candidates here. Sometimes I find stocks here which released earnings yesterday. And then I'm going into deep analysis, and then I maybe add them to my watch list or not. The new high screener is also a screener I'm using on a daily basis. And this screener shows me all stocks which are up today and which are on a new 52-week high. So they are producing a new yearly high. And this is also not a signal. I can emphasize this not enough. This is not a signal. This is just to decrease the number of stocks I'm looking at and to fish in the right pond. And stocks which are breaking out to new 52-week highs are often under accumulation, and there's a high demand on that. And other traders and institutions are paying up to own the stock. So they are paying more and more and more for the stocks itself. And I do not trade them blindly. I just apply the same methods and the same analysis work on those stocks too. So if I find, for example, here Domino's Pizza, I will go into a deep analysis, and then I'm deciding if I buy the stock or put it on my watch list or whatever. So, but this is screener I'm looking on a daily basis to find stocks breaking out of consolidations. So then the last screener I will show you is my IPO 1 year screener, and this is a screener I'm using also on a weekly basis. and I'm looking at all the IPOs from the last year. You can see the criteria here, IPO date in the last year. And the most of these IPOs are crap. So I will never trade them and I will never look at them. Here, for example, if you look at such a stock here, whatever that is, or something like that here, or Aikido Pharma for 72 cents. This is crap. I will not look at that. But sometimes you find much more interesting IPOs. For example, here is one, Chewy, which I also highlighted in the newsletter. And this is an IPO with an institutional quality. You can see that also if you go with a mouse over the chart. You can see it also on the market cap. This is 17 billion, and you can see on the price and on the market cap that this is not a small penny stock or a small crap stock. This is really an institutional quality stock. And also if you look here, for example, Beyond Meat is coming up in the scanner, and some other interesting IPOs. So I do not trade IPOs in the first weeks or something. I just want to see at least a few months or a few weeks of price history, and then I'm also going into a deep analysis with the stocks. The thing is, you cannot, or you don't have a real shortcut with screeners. Screeners are a great tool to make the work easier for you and to increase your odds. But you have to do the hard work, you have to do the homework with analysis on the technical side, on the fundamental side, and also on the story to make sure that you really catch a potential winning stock. So there's no shortcut for that. And so I hope this video gave you some insights how I screen for stocks. Again, this is only one screener I'm using, FinViz. I'm using also MarketSmith as a second screener. And but MarketSmith has a very high fee. FinViz is free for everyone, so you can use it, and there is no need to subscribe to the paid version from FinViz. I think for the most position traders and more midterm traders, the free version is absolutely enough. One hint or one additional comment, I don't use the EPS numbers from FinViz. Just to show you, FinViz offers a lot of EPS things here, like EPS growth, next 5 years, past 5 years, next year, whatever. I don't use them. I personally think that the numbers are not good enough here. The quality is not good enough, and this is mostly diluted EPS numbers and not non-GAAP based numbers. So I don't use EPS screening from FinViz. If you want to find good EPS numbers, you have to subscribe to, for example, to Investors Business Daily, or there's a free alternative. You find every EPS number in corporate reports. So you can go to the investor relations sites from the companies and look into the published earnings, and you'll find all the right EPS numbers at that point. Okay, I hope that this video helped you to find some optimizations for your trading process. You can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Facebook, and I recommend to subscribe to my free newsletter. I send every Sunday a newsletter with trading tips and also with 4 candidates from my personal watch list.